Let's go. Day 7 building live auto captions. Let me just turn them off for a minute. I started the stream 21 minutes ago and didn't hit the go live button, so I've actually just been talking to myself and I was thinking the chat sounded very quiet. I went on to check whether I'm live. I wasn't live. I was on time. I did everything right. I wasn't live. I've done 20 minutes of coding without even starting. I got carried away in the coding. So today is hopefully the final day of development. I've got a few tasks I want to get done here. So I want to be able to fade in the captions, fade out the captions, change the fonts, and then I've got to focus on the cleanup. So I leave the cleanup tasks to the end. Got a massive sense of deja vu because I've just been through all of this to myself. But my intention today, the aspect ratio, let me just show you. So we've got, let me just quit out of that one. We've got, so the aspect ratio works. We can resize the window. Let me change this. Resetting all the settings. Settings. So we've got the aspect ratio, and that lets us change the size of the window, but it adds a bit of padding at the top. So when we add it into OBS, it doesn't fit properly to the size of the screen. So I want to get that working properly to the size of the screen. In the cleanup tasks, and then I want to change fonts. The fonts are nice to have. It's not something that I absolutely have to do at this stage. That can default for version 1.0 to the fonts that are in like the default system fonts. I'm not quite sure how much of the code I can recycle from the iOS app or whether fonts are something that's built into Mac OS. But that's what I'm going to discover today, how easy that is to do. If that's easy to implement, then we can change fonts. Otherwise, that's nice to have. And then I'm focusing on the cleanup. Let me turn those subtitles off so you can see the screen. Focusing on cleanup, aspect ratio, changing the background color of the speech bubble, saving and loading colors. As you saw when it loaded up, it's all black with a black background. So I've got to change that. And then the words were going too fast. I've actually fixed that in the last 20 minutes. Well, I'm fixing that now. It's not saving when we switch between how many words are in a sentence. That was, actually I might turn this back on. So by default, it's showing black text. I've got to save it and load it again. Save the settings and load the settings. And I change it to boring captions while I'm here. So the words were going too fast. That's what I'm working on now. And revisit animations. Yep. So the animations are, I forgot what I wrote then. Animations are here. We've got, like if I say thank you, there's a bit of a celebration that happens. If I say thank you, there's a bit of a celebration that happens. If I say hello, at the moment it's Kenny waving. So just revisiting the default animations. And then hopefully that brings all of the development to a close today. And then tomorrow I'll be focusing on launch, which is the process of setting up the website, submitting it to the App Store. I've just muted the mic because I bumped it. So I'll be focusing tomorrow on the launch, maybe getting to it today, but we'll see how we go. So today and you can see, so the Swift lines that I've coded, I actually did some coding off stream. You can see today how many lines I've coded. And today I'm tracking, what am I tracking? Tracking how many times I use AI. And the topic I want to poll people on is this new Mac Mini. good for app dev or not. I think because I've seen the price of this thing and I've seen how powerful it is, and it looks like it's a really cheap way to get into app development, a really cheap way to get a silicon processor for Xcode for development, and it looks like a good deal. If that was out before I got my new MacBook Pro, like my MacBook M1 was fine, and then I would have just got this new Mac Mini and be not worried about the amount of RAM that I have in my M1. That would have been like my portable device, and then it would have replaced what I've got here with the M4. But we got Sidat. Hello, Sidat in chat. How's the tic-tac-toe app going? And Lior, thank you for giving me some reassurance that it happens. Mornings are rough. Mornings are... They're hectic. They're hectic in our house with all the kids, getting everyone out the door. And I started like 30 minutes ago, right on time. And when you schedule a stream on OBS, you click Start Stream, which is what you do normally. But then there's a button that I didn't see called Go Live. So you start the stream, click the button. I thought I was doing the countdown, thought I was live, thought everything was going well. I didn't click the Go Live button, so I restarted it and went from there. Maxim, hello, Maxim. Actually, I'll be doing the tic-tac-toe app on the weekend, says Sadat. Oh, look, that word wrapping went weird then. Maybe, like, to get version 1.0 out, maybe when there's because there's the background, the stroke around the characters is rendered separately from the characters themselves. So maybe sometimes with word wrap messes up. Is it going to be much of a problem? If it's too much of a problem in version 1.0, I'll release it with the boring captions being a bit more limited. Like number of characters that are displayed. Maxim, new Mac Mini is sick. Totally yes from me. I'm tempted. Like, I don't actually need it. I don't need it because I got the MacBook Pro. But like, it would be nice to have a dedicated, really beefy machine on the desk all the time, and then just use the MacBook Pro for like when I'm coding in bed or in front of the telly or something. But then having like a solid base in front of on the desk all the time. Like, that's really appealing to me. But I don't actually need it. I don't need it. I have new plans, says Sadat. I want to make an app that contains little games like tic-tac-toe, reflex game, memory games. Sadat, check out the keyword offline games. People look for these offline games to sort of use while they're out of coverage, or give it to the kids to play games on there. So if you're doing an app with a bunch of mini games, which I think is a good idea, look at that keyword offline games or no Wi-Fi games. There's a couple of keywords there that look really promising. Maxim, does anyone ever need it? No. No, I don't think so. Leonardo, thank you for the kind words. Big fan of my work and being inspired. I hope that's my objective. That's my objective. This whole word influencer, I don't like that word. I like to think that I'm trying to inspire through like work ethic and just sticking at it and the long term of it. I think I've talked about it on stream before, but my whole objective is just talking to myself 5 to 10 years ago. So if I had someone that I could look up to that's 5 to 10 years along the path that I want to go, then that is the content that I want to create, talking to myself 5 to 10 years ago. See that? Yes, that's my main point. I see a lot of people at Metro playing little games. So then in Metro, do you get reception? Like, I guess if you're in a subway, you might not get reception. I'm not sure. Yeah, but those keywords are good keywords to check out. So if I go here, keywords, offline games, Wi-Fi free games. Difficulties increased though. The difficulty used to be a lot easier last time I checked. So it's worthwhile just checking what keywords you could start targeting. But a lot of people are no Wi-Fi games. No Wi-Fi games. Yeah, so the difficulty is actually quite high now. People have gotten to that keyword, but it'd be worthwhile researching it. But I think even though the competitiveness is quite high, like how many people are actually targeting that direct keyword? So have a look at this. No Wi-Fi games. Only one app actually has that keyword in the title. You probably could rank for it, even though it says it's competitive. I reckon you could rank for it. And then it's just about having lots of those mini games. I think, like, if I had the time and I was passionate about game development, that's what I'd be targeting. Maxim, +1. I am a dev for Apple platforms for a decade. I started with the idea to develop my own app, and now finally I started doing it because of you. You are hella inspiration. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I do appreciate that. What are you working on? Is the next question. And when are you going to release it? Leo, the Mac OS app is the one that I'm working on. The automatic captions, so adds captions to like the bottom of the screen on live stream. This is a spin-off of my spin-off app. I started out creating a video editing app. It turned into a sub app where you add automatic captions to short form content. And then I thought it might be a good idea to add automatic captions to live streams. So the Mac OS app that I'm working on is the automatic live captions, live auto captions, I ended up calling it. And I set myself the arbitrary deadline of end of month, and it's end of month here in Australia. But I'm going to give myself leeway of a day to account for the US time zone because I can. So today I want to get through final tasks, fading in and out the subtitles, changing the fonts, that's nice to have, and then the cleanup. And the cleanup is just fixing all those little tiny bugs. Like at the moment, I can see this text should be center aligned, no matter if it's word wrapped. Might add that to the list. That camera's laggy again. So adding center wrapping to the boring captions. And Maxim asking the questions. That's right. Part of my job for you is to get you committing yourself to a time frame. I play tennis, so I'm doing a score tracker. So you can tap on watch and put the result of the point. It also keeps the rules, so you only tap once and it tells you who should serve, when to change, etc. That is actually a good idea. I have played a bit of tennis, and the most annoying thing that I find is forgetting who's serving, what set you're on, and what the score is. And you sort of, I don't have the best of memories. If I'm playing against someone that has good memory, it's good. But if we both don't have a very good memory, we forget. Julian, I have an issue with my app. Apple approved version 2.1 of my app, and it's been in the ready for distribution state for 4 hours now. However, I don't see it on the App Store. When it's set to ready for distribution, it means that you've ticked a box for manually distributing it. So you have to go into App Store Connect, and you have to, or like on the phone or on the web portal, and there's a button there to actually go live with it, Julian. So when you set it to automatically distribute, when they approve it, it automatically goes out. But if you set to manually distribution, they've approved it. It's ready for distribution. You just have to click one more button. It's the same issue that I had with the stream, actually. I clicked the button to go live, to start the stream, and then I had to click a button to go live. So there's a two-step process. Planning to release in December, Maxim. Awesome. I'm bad at keeping scores, he's saying. Many times I want to change the score thinking I won the game, but it was still a point to play, and I never know. When it goes into deuce and it goes into advantage, that's when things start to get really complicated with tennis. Keep pushing. Tennis scoring, tennis score. Score tracker. Score tracker is a keyword that you could target, that you could actually get ranking for. These ones, sometimes, I've looked into it before, these apps will sort of allow you to do air play to put the scoreboard up onto an external screen as well. Scorekeeper. Scorekeeper is a good one. So you target keywords like tennis score tracker, tennis scorekeeper, and I reckon you're onto something there. Julian, yes, it's done. I have the green check mark, but I still don't see my update. Really strange. Never had this issue before. Wonder if there's, so you've approved it, and I mean, if it's version 2.1, you know how to approve an app. Hey, those captions have stopped. So you know how to approve an app, I assume. That's defaulted to those style again. So yeah, you know how to release an app. There we go. My pleasure looking up the keywords, Maxim. I think there's some good keywords there. I'm doing watch and iPhone. No idea about monetizing it. My goal is to release first app, what money, have some debts to pay too, and maybe pro version later with cloud sync and sharing. I think that's the strategy I run with releasing it for free, seeing if there's a target market, and then also getting that viral growth to see if I can get it ranking on the App Store. Impulse Transporter, hello. I don't think I've seen you on stream before. Do you listen to music when working? I want to listen when I'm working, but it distracts me. I will be putting some music on when I get started. The type of music I like is not that lo-fi stuff. The lo-fi stuff is a bit boring. I get a bit bored. It sends me to sleep. I listen to lo-fi if I want to go to sleep. When I want to code, I don't want to listen to lo-fi. I want to listen to something that that gets me moving. So that's a good segue. I might put some music on and start getting stuck into it. Have a great day. Thank you, Impulse. Still can't believe that I started the stream 20 minutes into it and I wasn't even doing anything. So you can see my stats. I was on a roll too. Alright, I'm going to resume back where I was. So at the moment, when I customize the... When I customize maximum on-screen words, it's updating the number of subtitles in the group size from there. And it should also update from here too. When I select it, even though it's updating, oh, now it's pushing it through. So that wasn't working before. So I fixed that off camera, it looks like. So I have maximum on word screens, maximum on word on screen. And when it's a TikTok caption, it's not showing it, but for now I want to show it just to see what's actually working. Settings. So when I go to captions, maximum on-screen words set to 20. When I go to boring captions, maximum on-screen words is 30. That's working. That's how I want it to work. I think I can check that off. That's an easy one to check off. Where's this box? There it is. Move that out of the way. Alright, so words going too fast. I can fix that. That's fixed. That camera's laggy. So you can't see it there, but that thing on my checklist was words going too fast. And now I want to center the boring text. So if I say style view, I think it's subtitle style. Subtitle. So we go subtitle view, and the text here needs to be the text alignment. So why is that text alignment not centering? Okay, so I did add some more options here. If caption settings alignment bottom leading, actually I can just do, instead of retyping each of them, if it's bottom leading or top leading, bottom trailing or top trailing, bottom or top. Let's see if the text now center aligns. That next thing I'm going to fix is that saving of. Show you the screen. Next I've got to fix is saving of the actual color, because I'm not saving the color at the moment. So yeah, center alignment of captions now works. That's good. Look at this, I'm really getting through these. Center boring text. Next, I want to be focusing on loading and saving the colors, because that's going to annoy me. Sidat, thinking of a pronunciation application for people whose second language is English. An application that will rate how accurate the user speech is by scoring it. I think you could hook that into AI, like a whisper type deal. The API that I'm hooking into at the moment with speech to text through the Swift UI API probably wouldn't be able to detect whether I'm pronouncing words correctly, but AI would be able to do that. So you wouldn't be able to do real time, but you could say something, send it to a server and come back. How is the stats thing tracking lines? SWAT Kid, good question. You may have noticed there's probably a little issue with it, but so it's some code that I've written. It's a Swift UI app that I've created, and when I've typed in some characters into Xcode and press enter, it tracks it as a line. When I type in some characters into Claude or ChatGPT, it tracks it as an AI query. But in doing that, I noticed just now when I did search and I searched for here and then pressed enter, it actually incremented my number of lines that I've done. So I've got to look at fixing that. Julian might call Apple tomorrow just to make sure everything is okay. Happy coding. Thank you. When caption change midway, it really could help if the previous sentence could offset vertically together with fade out, but stay a bit on the screen. I tried a bit of that and it was getting a bit messy on the screen with the boring captions. Yeah, probably because there's a lot of text going on. Got to revisit that. Every time it changes, I can't help but start reading over from the beginning. So when there's too many words on the screen, it disappears and then the next one comes up. Because there is a bit of a fade out, but the problem is the OBS doesn't necessarily pick up transparency. So you can see it faded out then. But today I am working on the fade in, fade out of text. Maybe with boring captions, the number of words that are displayed on screen is increased. And it's all about the pause. So at the moment, when I pause between words, it starts a new sentence, a new subtitle. Is that what you mean? Every time it changes, I can't help but start reading over it. When caption change midway, it really helped previous sentence could offset. Maybe I'm misinterpreting what you're saying. When I run a long sentence, it will go to the next line. What does that do when I'm reading it on the screen? One way to fake transparency is use the less bright HSB text grey in white background, or make it smaller so it's like a stack. I'm going to be playing around with the fade in, fade out. I think it's a matter of like popping in, popping out. Loading and saving colors what I want to get stuck into though, because that is kind of frustrating. I think at the moment when I set the color here, blue, gray, let's see if that loads those settings. Does that load those settings? So it's the foreground color that's not saving. So we go to caption settings. Save. Yeah, so we're saving the text outline color, background color. Actually, it's not a matter of saving it, because it is saving it. We're actually not loading it. I called it text color. Text color. Did I really not load it? Alright, let's see if it loads it now. Did that work? Yeah. Now if I change it to a completely different style, will it remember that style? Did that work? So it didn't save the background color, but it didn't save the alignment, or it's not loading it. Which one is it? We got alignment. Alignment. I actually didn't. To do, don't forget to restore this. So I actually hard coded in there to forget that. So this should be center aligned in the middle of the screen. Now we want to change settings. Settings, style view. So it sets the highlight color, and then it is saving it. So go to caption settings. We save that as text highlight, text outline color. Let's just make sure we've got text highlight color, text outline, text highlight color. It's trying to load it. And it's trying to save it. But it's not doing it here. Text highlight color equals text highlight color. So blue background should show up. Does this have a blue background? No, it has a yellow background because I've done something weird. Let's just reset it, shall we? I haven't reloaded it yet, just confirming it has a blue background. Yes. Does it have a blue background? So setting the foreground color as the background color. So that should be an easy fix. So it should have somewhere where it's setting Text highlight color. Where is it getting text color from? Text color, text color, text color, text color. Because it's saving the foreground color as the background color somewhere. Missing green. It's on a green screen, but I think there is the option to have green. But if it's on a green screen, I guess that's the reason why you can customize the background color, so you can have a green if you wanted to, and then change the screen to blue screen. Ah, 4 key. So actually, all I've done here, text color, highlight color. Okay. That should be blue. There we go. That should be a speech bubble. I think I can check that one off already. Let me just double check. So if I close it, restart the app. Settings, this should be... Ah, no, that's really not done what I wanted it to do. At all. So it hasn't set a clear background. Set outline is set to black. Let's see if I switch it to there, switch it to there. I set these manually. Blue, black, white. Let's see what happens. When I manually set it, it works. So it's when I select the style that doesn't work. Setting style view. Which is odd because I am actually saving it after it set those elements. Text color, outline color, highlight color. Is it the clear? Maybe when it's clear, it doesn't save clear. Let's just reset the aspect ratio there. What was my train of thought? Yeah, so if it's set to clear, maybe that's the issue. When I set to none, none. Let's see if that looks weird. Yeah, so when I set it to nothing, it goes to black. Caption settings. I want to save. This is the encoding of the colors. If self equals nscolor.clear, return nothing or return nil. Self nscolor self return nothing or nil. Let's see if it actually does detect it first. Settings, customize to none. So it doesn't actually detect it as a clear color. What does it detect it as? 0, 0, 1, 2, 2, 2, 5, 5. Is that the right color? I feel like that's not the right way to do it. If text color equals clear, so this is the text color that I want. We can't set that to clear, so why did I check that one? We want to check the highlight color. Highlight color, none. I did recognize it, but I didn't track it. None. What I should actually do is tell me what the hex code is. Maybe that'll give some insight. Settings. None. Hex code is saving it as 00000. I think I do it in the hex. I think I was on the right path, but maybe self is clear, not NS color clear. Settings. Did I clear that? I don't want to clear that yet because I want to check what happens. That'll return nil. If I... So I need to make that an optional as well. Can you encode a nil? Can I encode a nil? Decode if presence is already set to nil. Color clear. So I think it should allow me now to encode, so we say none for the highlight color. That will set as a nil. Successfully. Restart, see if it encoded. Yes, it did. Okay, so that was an encoding issue. Let's see if we got the same with this. I can remove that there for now. Let's see if that encodes that. None, none, correct. And then if I select a different style, white, black, blue, settings, white, black, blue. think I can call that one done. And I'll show you what I mean about, I'll set this to a blue screen, and then I'll go to this bit. Here I can change the width, how much it's showing up on the screen. You can see it doesn't actually, although it's set to an aspect ratio, it doesn't go all the way to the bottom. So I'll set that back to green. There we go. So not 100% lining up with the screen in OBS. You can't encode nil, but you can remove it if it's nil. Yeah, so it was, maybe it was clearing it, because it did seem to be able to load from, well, it knows that it's nil. Let's just make sure. So there's no reason why text color will ever be clear, I'm assuming. But I think save load colors is done. Twittered at you, Adam. Totally didn't get nerd hunted. I don't know what that means. Ah, here we go. That's similar. So I did actually try that. Interesting thing about live streaming your progress is you can actually go back. Think that was when I was doing speech bubbles. That was day 2. I think it might have been on day 1. So I was running with pretty much similar to what you're saying, where it fades out. So pretty much, so see how it fades out there? That's how I wanted it to work. But then when it shows on the screen, if I can show you working on the screen, when I set the very meta. There you go. So it adds like a weird, OBS doesn't listen to the alpha channel of the green screen. So instead of going semi-transparent, it's adding that weird green part to it. When you throw a problem at Nerd and they spend their leisure time solving it. So that option that you did doesn't use any transparency. So that style but there is an opacity being used in that code. Yeah, and then it adds that. It doesn't, we're not dealing with a Swift, like text on a Swift view. We're dealing with text being rendered onto the screen, and then OBS is taking the color brightness. That might be an interesting one to look at. I haven't looked at color brightness. Speech background I'll get to first. And the speech background I'll make the same as speech bubble. So what I'm going to do is just have the highlight color. At the moment it's always set to white. I want to make that caption settings text highlight color. And the foreground color here, don't know if that will work straight off the bat. Let's see if this works. We say subtitles. And we have the highlight color to none. Let's make highlight color blue. This should be a blue sub. Yes, that worked. So now style wrapper. The highlight text color will now be white when you select it by default. How I render it, I'll show you how I render it. I've got a styled subtitle view. Inside I've got a subtitle view, and I've got, this is for the speech bubble. It acts a little bit different than the rest of them because it adds the little bit at the top, the little arrow. But pretty much the same as what you were doing, but just extra styling, where I've got a scale effect in there, but that is to zoom in, zoom out. And I did try previously to have text sort of on screen and persistent on screen and fade away, but it was a bit distracting and a bit annoying. So maybe in the previous stream you can see that. So this is defaulting to a blue background. Oh, that was too small. I want that to be bigger. So I've set the minimum width 100. Is that being listened to? Minimum width nil. Where would I be doing that? Subtitle view, do I have a minimum width anywhere here? Style minimum width. just to double check if it is working, I'm going to set the minimum width to like 1000. So the subtitle should take up all the screen, which it doesn't. So it's not adhering to that minimum width. Hang on a minute. No, I need to reset it. Does it set minimum width? Nope. Subtitle view, minimum width. Ah, yes, I'm not even wrapping it. After outline color. Where am I even saving it to? It's only for this one that we need a minimum width. It's a let property. Not the most ideal way of doing it. Let's see if that sets a minimum width. Set it to 1000. Does that set a minimum width? Yep. Now I want to push that to there. Setting minimum width in the wrapper here, but I'm not saving it anywhere. Style.minimum width. Because I don't want to hard code it, because that's going to cause me some headaches in the future. I'm already setting it in the style somewhere, but I'm loading the caption settings and the real-time captions. In the caption styles, I'm setting it as caption styles. That's sort of the settings. I like the idea of having caption settings that can call up the style from the presets. So we go caption styles. So now we're not hard coding it, and it will dynamically pull if we say caption settings, style, minimum width. Has no member, minimum width. Okay, so yeah, I'm not saving a minimum width, I'm saving in a wrapper. I've added some complexity here that's not needed. Actually, I'm going to keep that not in use at the moment, but I think that's going to be handy. Why is that not working? That was working a moment ago. Ah, because there's a bracket at the end. What am I trying to achieve? What I want to do is an easy way to do minimum width that carries on from the preset caption styles. So I want to be able to preload the preset caption styles. This replaces the existing caption styles that I was using as like a list of an array list. Get style from ID. It will return a caption style. Why wouldn't that be working? Cannot call value of non-function type caption style. Probably something really amateurish, but first AI use for the day. So I get style from ID. That will then do preset captions. Get style from ID. The ID is there. But then we're not saving the minimum width. So I've got the preset captions, okay, so we've got preset styles, that sets it. We've got style minimum width, but we can pull minimum width. It's in style though, isn't it? Probably don't need a default to nil. Okay, so there's a clunky way of doing it. Let preset style equals get style from ID. Preset style minimum width. Because we're not saving, the actual style is not being saved to settings. So the settings is where we're pulling text size, but this is pulled directly from the preset because the preset itself needs to have a minimum width so that the little arrow doesn't pop up in the middle of nowhere. And then I have replaced this caption styles with items. For each caption styles first. Let's see if it say a short word to see if it does a minimum's 1,000. Because I've set that hard coded that before. Oh my goodness. Does that work? That's setting it to 1,000. I ended up putting 1,000 somewhere, didn't I? Restore to 100. Okay, does it restore it? Yes. And I think I wanted that 80. Originally I had it 80. So I'm going to say a single word, short word, see if it works. Is. Yep, that works. Okay. We can say whiteboard. Oh, my camera's gone off. Phone's gone flat, gonna get the charger. So I've removed speech bubble off that list. I'm just waiting for my phone to turn back on again. I'm using like just the camera on a old phone to do that whiteboard. I wonder if I can see it from here. Nah. You kind of see the whiteboard, but you can see I've got like a there. Old iPhone set up, pointed at the whiteboard, but it's gone flat because I didn't put it on the charger. And that acts as my to-do list as well. I keep referring back to it. I can just look at it. Aspect ratio. So at the moment, if I go back to the screen, I've got it's doing the aspect ratio nicely. That works, but I want to account for the title bar. Aspect ratio. And there's 3 different ways that I'm doing this. It's defaulting to width, defaulting to height, and then also defaulting to changing the entire aspect ratio. Because the way that it works, when you resize that bit, it resizes the bottom with it. When you resize the bottom, it resizes the top with it. And then if you resize the middle, it was causing a whole bunch of errors. So we got this weird doubling up that happens. But I want to account for the title bar at the top. So this is where I'm going to definitely need some AI. On Mac OS App Kit Swift UI app, I have following setting. Inside the view, I have VStack set to 100% height. Actually, instead of, why don't I just ask it to write the code? When resizing, it is resizing the VStack inside, but I need to account for the height of the title bar. It needs to add an extra element, extra amount to the height to account for it. Hello, Ed Rocks. Using Claude. I think this is, how many times have I used it today? Oh, I've used it 12 times apparently. Get title bar height. Standard Mac OS title bar height. Is there a way to get title bar height dynamically? Some sort of API. So the title bar maximum is the bar at the top here. So at the moment I've got it not showing. Maybe that's what I just have to do. Turn that back off. So the green background extends to the top. Usually I have a title bar at the top. So this is the title bar at the top. So when I add the title bar, I guess that would work in, so I go settings, blue background. If I jump over to the screen where it shows it, so see, I can see the title bar at the top. Let me crop that out. But you can see when so this is supposed to be the full, this is supposed to be the aspect ratio it aligns to, and I'm assuming what's happening is it's not accounting for the title bar at the top. So if I add the title bar at the top, let's test my theory. No, it's still not. So there might be actually something with the calculation. If it's hidden, your content will have the size without it. When the title bar is added, so if I resize it to the width and I remove the title bar, my theory was that maybe my theory is flawed. YouTube aspect ratio is 16 divided by 9, or is it 9 divided by 16? 16 divided by 9. So I'm setting the aspect ratio to the correct aspect ratio. So I'm setting the window frame to the width and height. So I'm setting the X position, Y position, the width and height. Window is NS application shared Windows first. So my assumption is that it's adding extra to it. NS screen main frame size. I can set the width and the height from there. Frame is a get only. Dot screens. Chat coding is awful. I bet it's like when I'm sitting behind the computer with my parents and I'm telling them to jump onto a browser and they're slow and they're not doing it the way that I want them to do it. NS screen. There's no dot screens. Ah, that's what you mean. NS screens 0 size, can't assign immutable value. Don't think we can set that, can we? Because it's kind of working at the moment with this window set frame. This is set to NS application shared windows first. So I guess this is what you're saying is the frame current width and frame current height, and that's what I've got to update it to. Where have we got? What have we got here? We've got an extra thing there. I reckon maybe what you're trying to get at is that I should be adding it there. I've got 3 doubling up of code here, so not actually calling that until it's set here, I think. Yep. All right, let's go. All right, we got a crash. That's because it was too big, I think. Settings, we go to widescreen. Current width, current height. Current width 1920 by 1080. That's the actual screen size. It's the window, so I'm resizing the window. Then since you know the size of the window and the size of the screen, the difference is the title bar. Ah, that's what you're getting at. Smart. Current height. But do we know that, because we know the window height. So we're actually setting the frame of the window. So if the current height is already pulling from the window, so a way to calculate the height of the window and remove the height of the title bar at top. Get title bar height, window content layout rectangle height. So there's a window content layout rectangle, and at the moment I'm using window frame. Let's see what that does. That looks wider. So what I need to do is, in OBS, I want this just to be the full screen. All the way across. Left title bar. title bar height. Total height equals new content height plus title bar height. Yeah, doing it on AI and stream. So I've increased title bar height. That goes all the way to the width. That's going off screen. So I'll reduce that size there. So that goes the full width with the title bar at the top. If I add the total title bar to the height, I resize that to there. I increase the height, remove the title bar. Still not perfect, is it? But if we do the title bar like that, that goes to the full width. Have I got it all the way? Yes. So it's still, hello Sambex. I'm building an automatic captions app. So the captions on this blue screen is what the code is generating. At the moment, I'm trying to get this blue rectangle, the aspect ratio, to line up with thing. It's not going as I would like it to. But I think, I don't know, maybe it's close enough. I don't need to show the title bar. So I actually had the title bar hidden before. Let's restart it. So I don't have the title. Oh, it was showing both title bars at the top before. So if I remove the actual bar from there, I think that so when I remove the title bar from the top, it's still, when I set it to width 100%, we've got a gap at the bottom. When we remove the title bar height, actually, before I do that, because I'm dealing with two things here. I'm dealing with OBS cropping the set the width, set the height. Set the width, set the height. Fun on stream, I know it's trying to work out a way to show what I'm working on. Screen, there. So I've got width, and then we've still got gap at the bottom there. I actually don't think you can see my screen when I'm doing that, can you? I don't know. All you can see is a blue screen floating around. That's what I'm trying to get the aspect ratio working on. With no title bar, adds the thing down the bottom. No, that's with the title bar. With no title bar. Go back to code here. Okay, so we got no title bar at the top. And it still is having that little bit at the bottom, which I feel is the height of the title bar. I've got the title bar turned off at the moment. In OBS, so I crop the window. Maybe I capture the window. Live captions. Display window capture, and we'll select live captions. So first thing first, work straight on here. That works perfectly with the title bar. We didn't have to add the title bar height. Turn off title bar, which means I have to restart here. So that works. So with the title bar off, you can see at top left we have it's still capturing the like the close button. In this case, it's a button that lets me close it here. So what I wanted to do ideally is be able to crop that out. The button is at the very top left. There. And at the moment I've got it captured to capture the screen, so it doesn't have the close button, but by default it replaces the buttons with this little icon, but usually the close, minimize, maximize button is there. So clearly we probably don't want that appearing on stream, which is why I was trying to reduce the width, the height by the height of that. So maybe I'm doing this wrong. So total height, then I add the bar on top of it. I can make a window without anything. It's pretty flexible in AppKit. This is the first featured app that I've created in AppKit, so I'm still learning what's possible. But let's see. I've got But ideally what I'd like to do is be able to capture, I don't know, I'm in two minds. I do kind of want the close button at the top so people know how to actually quit the app. So I'm thinking, should have live automatic captions there. Live automatic captions there. And that resize with the title bar is the correct aspect ratio. And what I want to do is be able to crop the top off, resize. All I want to do is add the height of that title bar to the mix. So silly me. So if I go settings and I reset the aspect ratio to square, title bar height 28, set it to, that's going to crash if I do that, so I need to make sure that is smaller. Now let's see if that works. So when I increase the height, that's it. So now I can crop the top bar off, and then that resizes 100%. So the code was working, but I wasn't calling it on launch. I was only calling the when I resize the window. So if I resize the window, and when I resize the window, I think I'm breaking that code. Yes. So when I set the aspect ratio, I set it to square, that sets it to square. Then I set it to widescreen, and that is keeping the alignment that I like. And the second that I resize it, it changes the height. So I've just got to get title bar height and then add it to these ones. Plus title bar height. Settings, we'll reset it, square, widescreen. I think that looked like it didn't jump the size of it. That's when we're resizing the width. This width gone with. Compelling stream at the moment when I'm just playing with Windows on OBS. Remove the title at the top. That's clicked into aspect ratio. That's good. That's what I want to see. And the next thing, I want to add the target width. We want to add title bar height, new height plus reset it. That did something weird. Resize window aspect ratio from width works as expected with calculating the height of the title bar. Apply same logic to same calculation outcome to a close button when hovering over. I think that's a good idea, actually. Like, remove all the controls at the top of the window. Square window. Widescreen window. So the width, that changes well. That crashes it. There's some clunky code that I've added in here already to stop it from updating too often, because it crashes. Because ideally what I want to do is set the aspect ratio. That doesn't crash now. So I want to be able to set the aspect ratio square 1:1, return to widescreen. When I set up and down, I don't want it to jump the width, which just did. Because when I set it to 1:1 and widescreen, that works as expected. But that jumps, which means it's calculating it wrong. What happens if I remove the title bar height? I don't know. Settings. Reset it. Widescreen. Up and down still jumps. That calculates nicely, but this is not, because that changes the aspect ratio.
Give me a break.
Really need to 1:1. New width divided by aspect ratio. So the height, we're calculating it in there, and that's working as expected. The width, so total height, we want to remove the title bar height. Completely changes the aspect ratio. By quite a large factor. Why does that code break it? Oh, it's probably a bracket somewhere missing. Total height. Total height is fixed and can't be changed. Only width needs to change because that's causing the crash. Correct. So any window I want to resize, I want to keep the aspect ratio. Excluding the title bar at the top. So width is working. Now let's see if this works. I think that worked. And it might be a clunky way of doing it. I'm an iOS developer. Windows is using a whole new skill set. So if I go down a little bit, yes, I think that's working. So aspect ratio is now being considered correctly. Regardless if I drag from top or bottom. If I drag from the corner, it does a weird thing to stop it from crashing. There's a timer. Oh, that was a weird thing. Width. So, is there a way to turn off dragging a window from being resized but only from the bottom, only from the corners, allowing horizontal, vertical resizing, but not diagonal. Yes, you can customize window resizing behavior in AppKit by setting specific resize masks on the window. This is the thing, the window delegates are a brand new concept for me. In iOS development, SwiftUI, we don't go down this path. This is my existing content view on appear. VStack on appear. Can we do this window delegate? But that's going to conflict with the other window delegate. Yeah, so maximize, that's what my backup's going to be. If I can't stop the user from resizing the corners, I'm going to just default to like just the height or just the width. Invalid redeclaration of window delegate. Content view window delegate. NS window style mask element has no member resize window mask. Borderless, tilted, closable, miniaturizable, resizable, unified, full screen view. Style mask equals title closable, miniaturizable, full screen view. That's going to remove all resizable. That's going to prevent me from resizing the window at all, isn't it? I'm not comfortable going down the delegate side like that. That's defaulting to what we're talking about. Yeah, I think I'm not 100% familiar how these window delegates work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to default to width another clunky way of doing this is, I think, if not is checking width, then set it to a timer so the width will have a delay. We'll put that under here. I don't know if that should go under there actually. That will go here. So there's a slight 0.2 of a second delay. Nope. Nope. Put that into the resize ID. Yeah, so now if it does happen to click the wrong size, it's going to have a slight delay to default to. So if I do this now, the corners don't act the way I'd like them to, but at least it does click in to the right height. I know, Max, there's probably a better way to do this. I'm of the opinion that it's clunky, but it works. So if you sort of yeah, clunky for version 1.0 and working, yeah, good enough. It's not ideal. But then I wonder what happens if I resize it like this and I go settings and then I make it square. Yeah, so it is. Yeah, so I think that's working better now. Well, it's not ideal. But it works, kind of. But the idea is to keep the aspect ratio so I can go full width. Then I go live captions, I select live captions, crop the toolbar out, and I need to resize it down. That goes the width of the screen. You can't see it, but that's the width of the screen. Then I say green. And then we have it overlaid. But I might want to decrease the width. Just to get the size that I want. Again, I want to remove the title bar. Make it all the way across. That clicks into aspect ratio. Might make it a bit smaller for now. Okay, does that align where I want it to line? Yep. There we go. Settings, let's say styles, TikTok style. If I say hello, does that make the whole screen light up saying hello? Yes, it does. So everything works nicely. Also, I care about the whole window aspect size. Why not just place a full screen window and place a SwiftUI view that you can resize it? Because when it goes full screen in OBS, any windows that are behind it disappear from being able to capture. So ideally, in OBS, I want to be able to just capture this window. So you can see I'm actually just capturing a window. So all I want OBS to do is just capture that window, and then no matter what aspect size I've resized it to, it will just capture that window. I don't want the user to resize it and get the aspect ratio wrong. Occupying the whole screen. But it kind of doesn't occupy the whole screen unless you do... because when you account for the title bar at the top. So if you do the full screen... If I do entire screen, that's the only way to make it full screen with the aspect ratio. Ideally, my theory is that you have the window that could be resized and you can capture that. Oh, now I've changed the width, haven't I? I don't know how to create a transparent, non-interactable window, but there are some other apps that I want to build that'll be learning how to do that. I wonder what would happen with OBS if it was a transparent window where that would... Yeah, I didn't know that was possible. Transparent window. Because I wonder if I capture, then I don't have to worry about any green screening. If I just capture the window. Apply to this content view. And I've got background color in content view. We'll remove that. What will happen? Error. Not redeclare content view. Okay, so we can set a transparent window. I did not know this. What happens if I capture this in OBS? This is a test. So, I don't need a green screen it. I did not know I could do that. I've been green screening it the whole time. That would mean that I can start adding semi-transparency again. I kind of do need the title bar. Because, like, for usability, like, I don't need the title bar. This is late in my development cycle to be playing around with a brand new feature that I should have known about from the beginning. Where have you been this whole time, Maxim? For usability purposes and for the initial version, what I'm going to do is on hover is hover in background color green. So make the background color background color is if hovering color white, else color clear. Background color nil. So theoretically now what I do is when I move the mouse over, it, is that user friendly or not? Yeah, and has shadow false. The shadow was popping up on OBS as well, so that's automatically moved that. Title bar appears transparent, yes. Title visibility hidden. Is there a way to remove the close min buttons? From a usability perspective, that's not removed, that's actually there. I'm not sure. That actually resizes it. It's added this nice feature. It resizes the whole thing, which I like. Instead of it being white, semi-transparent white. I guess that's a little less jarring. And then what I want to do is, now I want to remove that title bar altogether, don't I? That moment you realize when a bunch of your code place in full screen, you do everything in SwiftUI content view that is taking up all the space. It's much easier than AppKit. I'm fighting with AppKit, but I'm cautious not to, like if I take it full screen, acts a bit differently than I would expect. But that's just made it so much better program, like so much better app already. And then instead of destroying that code, background color will be none. I want to so that has the full screen. And that just disappears. And we no longer deal with green screening. In fact, like that could just be a setting to have that always, have the window always, where the window go, that's what I mean. Yeah, I could always even make that a always on top screen setting, and you can, now I can't resize. Is it possible to still allow resizing now? Resizable. It's the borderless. Full-size content view. Full-size content view is the one that makes it not resizable. Borderless, resizable. This is still not resizable. I think now it's restoring the title bar at the top. But that's allowing me to resize it. Okay, let's try this. If hover over content view, I want to show title bar, resizable, etc. When hover out, I want it to be full screen style. I see what you mean now. So the full screen style is a API setting in AppKit. When you're saying full screen, I thought it meant increasing the size to full screen. When hover out, I want it to be full screen style. We will have, so that's inside the content view. Instead of adding this code inside content view, I want to add it to the window group app scene. Here's existing code. Not working. Wonder if I set it dynamically. Is hover titled full screen view? That disappeared completely when I did that. How to set it back to default behavior of a window in Mac OS. Full screen auxiliary. False. False. Maybe it's just as simple as that. Actually, what am I doing? When I hover over, it needs to set that. We want it to initialize correctly first. All my existing code. Can I dynamically change it on hover? What is the default style mask? There we are. Standard document default is this one. Utility window is titled closable utility window. Try modal window first. And then we restore it to here when it's not being hovered. That's getting there. When I want to capture the window, what element is it capturing? matches the top as well. I don't know why I'm so committed to having a title bar at the top. We will remove the concept of a title bar. We won't have a hover effect that will show the title bar at the top. So we can restore it back to, no, but that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to resize it. That's why I wanted title bar. Let's see if I can resize it. Title closable. And resizable. So I can resize it, but then when I move mouse off it, it doesn't let me resize it. So I need the title to be able to resize it. No, I can resize it like that. It's not listening to aspect ratio stuff anymore. Version 1.0 will have, I like where this is going. This is going to take a long time to get working. Title bar appears transparent, true. Title bar visibility, visible. So I think I could get stuck on here for the rest of the day. I've got a bit more stuff to do, so title bar is there. We can resize as we would expect. It's weird having a title bar floating. Light opacity. If caption settings background color is clear, that will set it back to green. Well, won't, that'll be white. Nope. Background settings, background color. So background color should default to the green. Can't set background color anymore. Then I go to settings. I want to add into background color. I want the preset colors to have clear, or say transparent. Then if I go to settings and I say transparent, it disappears. Green reappears. Now if it is transparent, we hover over it. I want an effect. So everything in the checklist yet. I actually got a bit stuck. My phone is not off. Let me just turn it on. Loading the whiteboard camera. So aspect ratio is what I've been working on, and I got a bit distracted with AppKit windows. I'm in the moment, we've got the aspect ratio working. In discovering that, discover you can make the background transparent, which saves a lot of time. So I've got transparent background. At the moment we've got the title bar at the top. I remove title bar and you can't resize the window. So for the time being, title bar remains. And by default, I think it'll load, the user will load with a green background, and then go to settings, set it to transparent. I don't know. But I've got the, so I think I can cross off the aspect ratio from the list. Let me just capture this. I go to